Australian Survivor, Australia versus the World is here, and the third player was eliminated. It's time to figure out why King George lost.
George, the tribe has spoken. Thank you so much.
The Australia tribe said goodbye to one of its kings after sending off the Golden God. It's not a coincidence that George went right after David. Part of it was that George was already on people's minds, and indeed, as I mentioned in my previous video, David's tunnel vision on him was a primary reason for David leaving. But it's more than that, as George was trying to take a subordinate role when David was there, but once the Golden God was gone, the full King George mode came out. Prior to that, George tried to recreate the magic of the Spice Girls alliance with Shoni, but the problem was he backstabbed her last time and she was there for revenge. I don't think it's generally a good idea to focus on such things when a new game starts, but she also knows from experience that if she didn't get him first, he would get her. George also made an alliance with David and Luke. In his mind, anyway. They were never on board because neither of them trusted him either. It's hard to be a returning player with the reputation for scheming too much and backstabbing that he has. Even when George brought David 100% verifiable evidence that Kirby was targeting him, David still went against George, to David's own demise, as I discussed in my last video, but it was an indication of just how little anyone trusted him. Of course, that particular scene of George throwing Kirby under the bus to David, while hilarious, also told Kirby that, as I've said a few times now, he wasn't trustworthy. This trend continued when George was talking before the challenge about what happened at Tribal Council. People thought he gave away too much information and he probably knew too much about all the world players. I didn't see it as really giving much information, but when you already have his reputation, anything you say can and will be held against you. Plus, they felt like he was most likely to jump to the other side at Merge. And let's face it, George has been at actual parties with players from the US. I don't know if it was any of these players, but he is definitely somewhat integrated into the US Survivor scene. Then on top of that, while the vote was already set by Tribal Council, he said there this would be his third time he's entered a merge in the minority, but he always turns it into a majority. Sure, for himself, potentially by latching on to the other tribe. Shoni hit the mark when she said George has played with amateurs in the past, but these are the best of the best, and he hasn't changed his game. He was bossing people around, telling them what to do, trying to pit them against each other publicly, etc. That isn't going to fly when everyone is a strong player. Just ask Rob from South Africa about that. Oh, wait, you can't because he was the first person voted out. As Janine told us, he thought he could tell them what to do, but he was going to get a reality check. George had decided he was going to direct the vote and everybody else would bend their knee to the king or have their torches snuffed. Except nobody in the tribe was going to bow down to King George. They said his love was draining and they couldn't go on. But I don't think they're complaining now that he is gone. And that is why George lost. Be sure to subscribe for upcoming future mini WhyXLost videos all season long, and watch for separate short videos with my thoughts on some of the more interesting or funny points of the game, plus plenty of videos on Big Brother 27.